Welcome to the deep dive. We've got some really compelling material today.
We do. It's centered on BE Alink.
Exactly. Her award-winning book, Inventing BE, which is part memoir, part manifesto, and her invention, the Alinker walking bike. Quite a combination.
Yeah, it really is. And our sources for this deep dive are primarily the B-Link website
Mm-hmm.
that focuses more on the book and her philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Alinker website, which obviously details the walking bike itself.
Right. So our mission today really is to unpack how one person's journey, a journey of self-discovery, wanting to bridge divides, how that leads to both this profound book and a really revolutionary approach to mobility.
It's about seeing that connection, isn't it,
Mm-hmm.
between personal transformation and, well, innovative design.
Absolutely. So let's start with the person who is BE Alink. We know she's a Dutch designer and architect.
The founder of the Alinker, yeah. But that book, Inventing BE, it sets the stage. It's presented as both memoir and manifesto.
Manifesto. What's the core message there?
Well, the title itself is a hint. BE Alink. It's this call, almost, to actively bridge the gaps, the divides between people, but also between us and the natural world.
Okay.
And it's not just about, vague unity. It strongly emphasizes that healing ourselves, personally, is tied up with tackling those external social barriers. It makes individual change feel like, well, a collective act.
That's a really interesting frame, and her background seems key to understanding that. Growing up in the Netherlands, the material mentions this feeling of disconnect.
Yeah, a disconnect between societal views and how she identified herself. She puts it as having no language for what she felt about her body.
Wow. That kind of early struggle, feeling like you don't fit. You can see how that would plant the seeds for later work.
Definitely. And it seems that personal feeling, that alienation, maybe pushed her outwards. She talks about this time travel through her international humanitarian work.
Right. Across continents, Afghanistan, Kenya, Ethiopia, Indonesia are mentioned.
Exactly. Places described as torn apart by volatile crises. And she says she found herself there not by hiding from the difficulty, but by engaging with it.
Mm.
It connects to this idea that she learned to live a rich life by confronting the darkness of humanity, to turn on the light of true freedom in mind, body, and spirit.
So freedom isn't found in ease, but in facing the hard stuff. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What does it mean to invent yourself?
Well, the book is actually dedicated to anyone who has ever had to conform or compromise their authentic self.
With the message, you are never alone.
Yeah. It's like an invitation for everyone listening to consider their own path of self-creation, I think.
It seems Inventing BE really struck a chord. The endorsements are quite something. You've got Rory Stewart talking about her extraordinary ingenuity, resilience creatively, and generosity of spirit.
Yeah, and what's interesting is how varied the voices are, but they hit similar themes. Authenticity, connection.
Right, challenging norms. Maureen Lip calls her brave, saying invention isn't for the faint of heart, and that BE rises above, typical diversity and inclusion ideas into actual belonging.
And Marcy Elizabeth C. Favale highlights the storytelling, the natural, evocative way she writes, her altruism in crisis zones, and that phrase, courage of a warrior to align her body with her soul. It really underscores this integration we're talking about.
That integration seems central. Dr. Elizabeth Tunstall, who wrote Decolonizing Design, she calls the book a deeper story of how to recreate ways of being that can heal us while dismantling social structures that seek to separate us.
Right, separating us from our authentic selves and each other. When Tunstall talks about decolonizing design, she's often pointing out how design, even with good intentions, can sometimes reinforce biases.
Especially in assistive tech.
Exactly. But BE's approach seems to inherently challenge that, designing for autonomy, for inherent worth, not just function.
And that comes through in the accounts from people who worked with her on the ground, doesn't it? Gary Helseth and Matin Malawazada in Afghanistan.
Yeah, they call her a fearless humanitarian, but also someone who treated locals as equal and with genuine love and kindness. That really shows her navigating these incredibly tough situations with empathy, but also clearly a strong will. She embodies that BE Alink idea.
Absolutely. Her authenticity seems to be the thread connecting everything. And worth noting for listeners, the audiobook is out there, read by BE herself.
Oh, that adds another layer, definitely. Hearing it in her own voice.
So we've got the philosophy, the personal journey laid out in the memoir. How does this translate into, well, a physical thing? An invention like the Alinker?
That's the fascinating leap, isn't it? The Alinker is described as a non-motorized walking bike without pedals.
Walking bike without pedals.
But the core idea behind it is what's really revolutionary. It's explicitly stated. It's not built as a technical solution for a body with a problem.
Right, not like a typical medical device focusing on the problem.
Exactly. It's built for your experience of self. It flips the script. It sees the person first, the whole person, who happens to navigate mobility differently.
That's a profound shift. And the
Yeah,
design itself reflects that.
it seems so. It's custom designed, they say, to challenge society's assumptions about disability. The goal is for it to be so cool that it overcomes the divide between people with and without disabilities.
Coolness as a bridge. I like that. And practically, how does it work?
Well, the design keeps the user supported, but upright, moving at eye level with others.
Ah, eye level. That's huge for social interaction.
Huge. And it keeps you active. You're training muscles, improving balance, activating your brain, because movement does that, keeps you engaged in life.
And there's this revolution is yellow concept.
Yeah, yellow being the color of joy, happiness, energy, but also caution. Not caution like danger, but like pay attention.
Look here.
Exactly. It's visible, vibrant. It signals a change, a joyful disruption of old ideas about disability and mobility, like saying, enough of hiding or feeling less than.
And the impact seems real. The testimonials are amazing. Sarah running 5Ks.
Yeah, because it lets her use her muscles and balance in a way other devices might not. Elke traveling the world again.
Antonia regaining independence. Nuri playing with her kids.
Massimiliano traveling. Sergio told he'd never walk again, now walking with the Alinker. It's powerful stuff.
And Selma Blair calling it a game changer. That's a significant endorsement.
It really is. And it's apparently for people with an active mindset, used by, what, over 5,000 people globally?
Wow.
With all sorts of conditions. Diabetes, arthritis, Parkinson's, MS, stroke recovery. It really broadens the idea of who might benefit from this kind of support.
It really does. And BE Alink isn't just innovating the product itself, but also how people access it.
Right. That's crucial. They have these Flex-A-Linker payment plans and a rent-to-own option with 0% interest.
That directly tackles the cost barrier, which is often huge for assistive technology.
Absolutely. Making dignity accessible, not just a luxury. And it goes further with a crowdfunding initiative.
What's that about?
It's designed to ensure no one is left behind, helping provide access for people who lack the financial means or maybe strong support networks.
Yeah.
It creates access to community.
Truly living the BE Alink philosophy.
Yeah, and they even mentioned a commitment to being welcome guests on the unceded territories of indigenous nations here in Turtle Island, North America. It points to a really holistic, respectful approach. Decolonizing in practice, perhaps.
It all seems incredibly coherent. The book, the invention, the business practices. It makes sense that she'd also have a podcast, BE Unfiltered.
It feels like a natural extension, doesn't it? A space for free-floating, unscripted conversations about things that matter, unfiltered.
Unfiltered, what kind of things do they get into?
Well, questioning what we filter out in our own lives. How we're maybe programmed, conditioned to uphold abusive systems, often without realizing it. The power of language is a big theme.
How the words we use shape our reality.
Exactly. It circles back to the themes in Inventing Bee, this idea of decolonizing ourselves, shedding those layers of societal conditioning.
To remember who we actually are, like how she had to find her own language for her body.
Precisely. Finding community, figuring out who we are underneath it all. And the podcast also touches on how the pandemic, that shared global experience, affects us and maybe creates new opportunities for understanding.
It sounds like across everything she does, the core mission remains. Bridge the divides, foster belonging.
Consistently.
And the podcast, like the book, seems like an invitation for us, for you listening, to think about what being unfiltered might mean in your own life.
Yeah, how we navigate our own stories, the systems we're part of. It's a lot to consider.
Definitely. So we've really traced how BE Alink's personal journey, this deep dive into self-discovery, led to both a powerful book and this innovative device, the Alinker, all fundamentally about bridging divides, creating connections.
It's a remarkable story of integration.
It really is. So maybe the thought to leave you with today is this. In a world that often pushes us to conform, to filter ourselves, what could inventing yourself truly look like for you? And how might your authentic self, the unfiltered you, become a link for others?